I'm often pretty amazed by how sketched out some people will be when I say I'm a hypnotist. And they kind of start to clam up, like, ooh, okay, I don't want to open my mind up to that. I don't want anyone tinkering in my head, which is a very valid point. And yet, we often never pay attention to the ways in which we are being hypnotized in day-to-day life. Here's what I mean. If you've ever been in contact with somebody who's gaslit you, especially multiple times, that has been hypnosis. Here's what I mean. There's two hypnotic principles involved in gaslighting. And yes, I will admit I use both of these principles. The first one is making you doubt your own reality, right? Because the way that a therapeutic hypnosis session works is it tries to make you doubt the stories that you've told yourself that have become your reality. So I will often say to a client, oh, really? Okay, so that is all you're worth in a relationship. That is the level of relationship that you are worth. When the creator was making you, he said, yep, that person, they will only have abusive relationships. That is all that they are cut out for in this life. And my client will say, no, of course, oh, okay, so that's not true. And they'll say, well, it feels that way. I say, oh, okay, it only feels that way. And now we start breaking down that old story that was harmful so that we can rewrite the story into something that empowers the client. Now, when somebody is gaslighting in day-to-day life, they're really not conscious of what's going on here. But in making you doubt your reality, the mind becomes a lot more suggestible in general, because whenever the mind is in doubt about reality, whenever it's unstable, it grasps. It is searching for something stable to hold on to. So all somebody else has to do is feed you a new reality. And this can often be really quite effective, even if it's not done right away. If it's done little by little over time, just repeatedly making somebody doubt their own reality and then feeding them a new reality according to what the gaslighter wishes it was, that can be really, really powerful. And that can take some powerful effort or some powerful shifting to help heal that. That can actually become that person's reality if it goes on for long enough and if it's done effectively enough. The other principle that is hypnotic about gaslighting is the miniature trance that comes when somebody is so audacious in their gaslighting that they'll actually suggest a reality that's completely the opposite of what actually happened in the real world. Here's an example. I suggested to an ex one time that we drive to FedEx to print something off instead of the college that was a whole 30 minutes away. Well, unbeknownst to me, FedEx was not printing that night. So my ex gets in the car in a rage and says, "You manipulated me." Now, this was so far from my intention, this was so far from the truth, that my brain didn't know how to handle what was being thrown at me. I literally had a moment where my brain went, what? And then it was trying to figure out, well, did he mean that? Is that true? What? Well, and I was going into my own little world for a minute, and that's a miniature trance. So then when he followed up and said, yeah, you manipulated me, there's a suggestion. There's an embedded command. So I was much more primed in that moment to say, I didn't mean to manipulate you, but if that's how you felt, I'm sorry, which then weakened my own perspective of reality. Because had I been firmly grounded in that reality and had I not been so open to that suggestion, I would have said, no, I didn't manipulate you. What are you smoking? So that's how gaslighting actually really gets in under the subconscious, is putting you in a spin to make you doubt that reality. It's really insidious, and that one is something that I don't know if every gaslighter knows consciously that they are doing that. And I make this video in the hopes that you will be better prepared if you know of somebody who gaslights, if you run into gaslighting, if you have somebody in your life who is coming out of left field with their reality and trying to make you doubt yours. Because here's the counter to it. Nobody can hypnotize you without your consent. Nobody can make you doubt your reality without your consent. Nobody can alter or reprogram your unconscious mind without your consent. They can do it without your knowledge. As in the case of gaslighting, if you're not looking for it, if you're not prepared for it, then yeah, somebody can slip in there with something that's just close enough to shift your perspective little by little. But nobody can alter your reality without your consent. So if you find yourself in the presence of a consistent gaslighter, if you find yourself in the presence of gaslighting, do yourself a favor. Keep your critical faculty up. Keep your bullshit meter well oiled and running. Keep it at 11 around these people. Because if you are willing to say, I know this is what happened. I know this because this is the truth. I know this because I have evidence of X, Y, and Z. I know this because this is the kind of person that I know I am. This is my values. You are much less likely to get your reality shifted by a gaslighter. So I really hope this helps somebody because it's useful information, as many Hollywood movies are made about evil hypnotists who will manipulate the mind and hypnotize people to do all kinds of weird stuff. Really, the most sinister kind of hypnosis, if you could call it that, is the stuff that we experience every single day without even realizing it. So with that, happy healing. Take care.